She like to break it down, move to the rhythm, let the beat knock while they groove to the rhythm, on the dance floor, stop choosing, I get them, yeah, bitch, these pimp shoes and I fit them, move a little closer than I grab them jeans, never knew they put so much ass in them jeans, fuck that super on a cool little skirt, like it when the bitch say ooh when it hurt, one ass looking like two when it work, three when it bounce around, I got Pro Tools bouncing down, I break that bitch, you better ask around, I'm on your trail like a basset hound, I smell weed, nigga, pass it now, hit that bomb in the back up in your bitch, how's it feel to have a Mac up in your bitch, wow, all this pimpin' up in your face down, all this pimpin' up in your face down, gotcha, get ya, real whole game, I spit ya, wanna uplift my name, I'm with ya, hit ya, get ya, picture, it's a party off the Richter scale, I wanna hold it back, but what the hell, I break that bitch down and give her something to tell about super fly, baby, I'm the shit, I'll drive you crazy with my super fly style, I won't stop, I'll break you down, now jump to the rhythm, move to the beat, fast with your movements, quick with your feet, come on, fuck that pass the Dutch, bitch, fuck that pass the Dutch, bitch, jump to the rhythm, move to the beat, quick with your movements, fast with your feet, fuck that pass the Dutch, bitch, fuck that pass the Dutch, bitch, work that, work that, work that, work that, work that, work that, yeah, work countdown, y'all ready? Come on, you got 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step up your game, girl, work that middle, ass so big you can't work that little, twerk that middle, give it to daddy and I'ma hurt that middle. I wanna get with your bitch, you get the picture, right before this dick and get the hit ya. Rhyme me slow, you feel me, get the picture. You got something coming, stop the running, hunt you down, I got the cock the gunning, put this pimpin' on you, use a gonna super